Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Football Takeover. Welcome to X. Welcome to the transfer show, which I can tell from the messages in the comments that this is going to have to be a two-parter. Anthony, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? How are you, man? It's been a while. Hope
Uh,
you're very
yeah,
well.
yeah. Well, that's a whole different show, a whole different conversation. But I'm okay. I'm ticking along. I'm doing the best I can.
That's
Um,
good to hear.
Yeah, I can already tell by the comments this is going to have to be a two-parter because I've got a feeling this is going to run way too long. So if it does turn to a two-parter, I will do this again Friday night due to the fact we're not doing a preview. So because I've got a feeling just by the looks of the comments. It's going to be a long show. Um, Obviously, Anthony, before I bring up any the questions in the comments, what is
Mm,
what is the one thing you're dreading or excited about the transfer window? Because what I am definitely not going to do, because I'm
mm,
still angry about it, is talk
yeah.
about what happened on Sunday.
Oh,
So
no.
let's focus on the positive of the transfer window coming up at the end of the season, because that's the only thing I can ignore what happened on Sunday.
Yeah.
What are you dreading and what are you excited about for the window coming up?
Um, if the rumors are true about, you know, Benny Blanco, obviously I'll be disappointed because, when he came in from Brighton, he and
Mm,
Gabriel, they formed that great partnership going forward.
yeah,
And then obviously he moved to right back to accommodate Saliba. And, his relationship with Saka on the right hand side it was great. It was fantastic. Benny knew exactly as soon as he got the ball to Saka, he would overlap, whips the balls,
yeah,
whip the ball in. And his overall, ability, so he was one of our best right backs at the time before even Timber came in. But obviously with the injuries that he's had, he hasn't, he has games where he looks like he's back to his best,
yeah.
but the injuries have, plagued him, for a while. So, he'll be, it'll be a shame for him, a shame, that he'll be going. But, at the end of the day, if there's an opportunity to bring in someone else like a Timo Livramento or someone else in, I'm just throwing
Mm.
out names out there, then, you know, um, so be it. I wish him I wish him the best of luck. I'm saying he has been a great servant for Arsenal. If he does win if we do, eventually lift the Premier League, Champions League, or the FA Cup, he can, leave with his head held high. That he's a winner on that
Mm.
aspect. So yeah, obviously Martinelli and Trossard, people know my thoughts about them already. That
Yeah,
both of them, it hasn't really worked out for one or the other, but it is what it is. Um, and obviously, in terms of the reports that we're hearing, that there's interest in Kvaratskhelia, is that going to be impossible to do or not, depending on PSG? Because PSG want to keep him.
mm.
It's going to take something monumental for us to get over the line, as well as Julian Alvarez. And again, there's rumors about the guy from Lille, and then there's also Tonali. You know, if we go into this transfer window and we get the business done, we'll be stronger than we were last year. Done this season in terms of the players that we do, players that we do go for. I think we'll be
Yeah.
a lot stronger.
Mm.
I think teams will be like, yeah, Arsenal being business this season. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm not going to touch on Sunday as well because that just,
Didn't happen, mate. Just didn't happen. Didn't
yeah,
what happened? What basically happened this week? It went from Saturday and it went all the
mm.
way to Monday. There was no Sunday. Didn't exist. Just didn't exist. Because if I talk about it, I promise
yeah,
you, I will swear so many times. Someone will need a bleep machine because I'm still angry. I know it's Wednesday, but
yeah,
I'll be honest, I'm so pissed off with the whole lot. Every single one of them.
yeah.
There's
So
only
am
a
I.
couple of players that, in all fairness, probably get a bit of a pass, but the whole team should really look at themselves and go, did we really play for that?
Yeah, exactly. You go, you do all you can to get to the final, and you put in a performance like that. The first
Yeah,
half, I was like, okay, one or two opportunities Kai Havertz should have scored.
yeah,
Realistically and truly, Gyökeres was in the
yeah,
match. And it's just like, I wouldn't have started Kepa. There's debate about, you playing your second string keeper in the final, but listen, that's where Arteta, that's where he faltered again. It's like, forget the sentimental. I don't care. I know David Raya had a child. Congratulations to him. Welcome to fatherhood. But I would have played him because he wouldn't have done that stupidness for what Kepa did. And I swear that's six finals that he's lost when he's in goal. You
mm.
remember the famous one what he did when um can't remember the manager who told him to come off, and he was like, "Nah, he doesn't want to come off." And I'm just
I think
like,
that was that Surrey or something. The Italian
"Yeah."
dude. Mm.
So yeah, for me, it's I said this in the chat. This can either go two ways. This can either galvanize the team to push on now because obviously after the international break, we've got um, Sunderland in the FA Cup. Then we've got Bournemouth, and then we've got
Southampton,
City. Sorry,
Southampton FA
Southampton.
Cup.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Southampton.
mm.
Then we've got Bournemouth, and then we've got City.
Yeah,
Now, this can either galvanise the team, push forward,
mm.
or it could send them into tailspin and like start dropping points going forward.
Yeah,
So we would just have to see what reaction, when they do kick a ball, when we do come back, how
yeah.
how they are, how they are, going forward. So
I agree.
we just have to wait and see, really and truly. Like I said, I'm disappointed because for me, that cup could have given us so much more in terms of the belief
Yeah,
going forward. We
correct.
play like that in the Champions League. If we got to the Champions League final, we're getting cooked.
Yep,
Regardless of if we're one of the best teams in Europe, we will get punished. You
yep.
can't be nervous or have a lackluster performance. Like again, as you're saying, all the players need to look at themselves in the mirror and said, "What did we do?"
Mm.
I've seen
I
it in the
agree.
past where we've choked
Yeah,
and history repeated itself, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Josh may have given Arteta a word in his ear in terms of what the situation is, what's going on, because obviously he won't happy. I
No,
don't know if Stan was there, so you have the the owners coming down to watch your team in the final, and you put a performance like that. If that was me, I'll be cheering off each and every player in the locker room, saying, "What was that? What type of performance was that?
mm.
You've made it all the
No,
way to the final." And then the people online, and then obviously there's civil war between Arsenal fans because Arteta and this that, and the third. I'm just like, look, we can't be doing this every time. It's
yeah.
like when Unai Emery was the manager, we got all the way to the final and we got whooped 4-1 in Baku. It reminds me
Mm.
of that. The
Yeah,
performance wasn't great,
yeah.
and if they don't win anything going forward, again, I could turn around to this mentality. How is their mentality going to be going forward? Are you going to rise above it to say, we lost,
Mm.
but we're going to still continue to go for the league? We're 9 points clear,
Yeah.
before we head into the Man City game, we're 9 points clear going forward. So, yeah, I don't want to speak on it too much because it,
No, no. Look,
yeah.
it's worth to have a
Mm,
quick chat about it.
mm,
But yeah, let's move on.
mm,
Financially, it doesn't hurt us, which is a good
yeah,
thing. But I do think mentality-wise, it has hurt us badly,
yeah,
and that's what scares me. Because I've been saying
yeah,
all season, the Carabao for me was essential that we win.
yeah,
But that performance was not for the was not set up for us to win at all.
yeah. It just gives
I've
us that platform. It
yeah,
just gives us that platform to
yeah,
have the confidence because it just looks like that these guys they're mentally weak. They can't perform on a big stage. You get
yeah,
to a final like that, you're the favourites. You play
hmm
this team twice this season, you know how they play.
yeah,
And putting a performance like that, I'd have been like, okay, we won that. That will govern us going forward. Okay, we can now go into the season to say, okay, we've won one cup. We know
yeah,
what to do going forward. That should have given them the motivation. Now we're seeing that 5 or 6 players are injured going forward. Really, like they
hmm.
and You know, I'm saying 5, 6 players are now pulling up saying now they're not going either to England, to Brazil. You know, I'm surprised Gyökeres ain't come out now and said I ain't played for Sweden.
Yeah,
Kai Havertz, you know, I'm surprised. You know, what I'm saying because it's just like the mentality needs to change in that dressing room. It really needs to change in that dressing room, and I don't know if the manager is installing that winning mentality to them or ripping them to shreds in there. Because if I was the manager of Arsenal, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be ripping them to shreds. You
yeah,
would not be getting paid for two. You know, you would not be getting paid for a month for a performance like that. That's how I'll drop it to to those players inside there because that was a disgrace. I've seen
yeah,
poor performances, but that to me was the old Arsenal of when he first came in and the mentality they just bottled it.
yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah,
I agree. I know Geeks has just joined us, so I'm going to bring him in very shortly. I'm just going
yeah,
to
yeah,
answer your questions. Well, it wasn't really questions, but the players that you mentioned. Ben White,
yeah,
yes, for me is gone in the summer. The price, I'd say, I've got their market values written down.
it's about what
I would
15
say
million,
around
isn't it?
40 million is what we would like more, but I think
Yeah,
40 million we would accept.
yeah,
You obviously mentioned Trossard and Martinelli. For me, both could go.
yeah,
One will definitely, but both could go.
mm,
Martinelli value, I'd say around 45 to 50 million.
mm,
His value has dropped drastically this season, for probably obvious reasons, if I'm honest.
yeah.
Trossard is around 20 million, which I think anyone quite happily pay that. He could possibly stay in the Premier League.
I
There's a
heard
few
Newcastle.
interested.
Yeah, I've heard Newcastle was interested in me if
Villa
he
as
bought
well,
in.
actually. Yeah, Villa was
Okay.
another team that could consider doing it.
Mm,
And Tonali, I just want to quickly cover this. There was no story in January for whatever reason. Someone created a story about Tonali.
yeah.
Tonali is always going to be a summer story. Are we one of them? Yes, we are one of them.
Mm,
But does it happen? I don't know. If I'm
okay.
honest, it's going to be an interesting one.
Mm,
What was the other one? Oh, you were talking about Sheila. I can't say his name. The guy from PSG. So I just call him Sheila for everyone just to understand who Sheila is.
yeah.
So the guy from PSG, there is no clubs talking to PSG at this current time.
Yeah.
However, when you look at PSG's system, he is on the out, but there is no clubs currently talking to him, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So,
Okay.
for me to trying to explain it a little bit,
Mm,
when there are no clubs interested, but the player is on their own system for possibly going out,
yeah.
it possibly means that he's not happy where he is.
Yeah.
So he may be looking at speaking to PSG, see if there could be a price tag that could be given,
Mm,
and then that's all. If they're going to say, "Well, okay, you can go, but you're going to go for
mm,
150 million quid," then
yeah.
see you later, everybody, because no one's going to be paying 150 million quid.
Yeah. And that's my fear in terms of the price that they'll put out for him going forward in terms of that. So
Yeah, I'm just
let's
going to see if I can find his market value. See if I can quickly
yeah.
find it. Carry on, Anthony.
Case
Sorry, mate.
worst case scenario if it's not him. I know there was interest in Lial. Is that still an option or is it bar and cola?
Barcola, possible. Barcola for me is probably
Yeah.
the most easiest to get out of PSG, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Mm,
Liao, yes, there's a price tag on his head. Everyone knows it. If they want to pay it, they're more than willing.
mm,
Regarding Sheila's price, market value right now is close to 100. So if PSG want to dig their heels in, they could quite easily ask for 130, 140 million if they wanted to. So yeah, it could be interesting. It's one to watch over the next few weeks, I'd say, because I do think he will want to get that cleared up pretty quick, if I'm honest, by the end of the season. Right, I'm going to bring in Geeks and I'm going to bring in Ali as well. Big up, gents. How are you both doing?
Hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you, my friend?
Cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I can only do non-camera today, so I do
No, that's all
apologise
right.
for that.
Don't worry about that.
Hey, Anthony. Hello, Coach.
How's
Bobby,
it
I'm
going?
so excited that you're doing the show again. This is like the meat and potatoes of this channel for me.
Well,
So
mate, I'll be
really
honest.
excited.
This is going to turn into a part one of part two because the
Right.
amount of questions in the comments, there's going to have to be a part two.
Absolutely. That's fun.
So I'm going to try and do this Friday as well because
Cool.
there's no preview. So I think Friday would be a good evening to do it. So whatever I don't answer in this show, there will be a show Friday to answer. But please don't put the same questions in.
Do you reckon it's going to be a window similar to last season, but more outs?
There's going to be a lot of outs.
Right.
Which is a good thing.
But there's going to be a lot of business. It could
Okay.
be the same amount of players coming in.
Oh, wow.
It could be because Berta is
Could be great
mental.
from a fatigue point of view, couldn't it? After the
Berta's
World Cup and
mental.
all.
I'll be honest. Berta's crazy. The things
Do
he
you think we're
does.
going to will we re-secure him, Bobby?
Sorry, say that again, mate.
Berta, he'll be heading into his second year of a 2-year contract. Will we be re-securing him?
I know we want to, but at the end of the day, Berta is Berta, and it depends because I think when the review happens, I think it's the end of May. I know that he's not going to be happy about certain aspects, which I'll be honest, I'll probably back him up on all those aspects in my opinion, and I think those would have to change next season. So basically, like players that he's buying need to be utilised because otherwise, what's the point of me buying them
Absolutely.
or me doing all these crazy deals and
Norgard,
just not playing? Yeah. It's like Norgard's value has dropped drastically in one season.
Crazy.
His market value is like 7.5 million now. Because we haven't. I know his age and all that kind of stuff. It's very much like depreciation with a card, but you kind of, if you played him a bit more, I reckon it would have stabilised a little bit more than it has. It's like what I was saying about Martinelli. Martinelli's value has dropped drastically. I don't know why I wrote it down because there's no way he's being sold this summer, but I did write Reyes down, and I was quite shocked what the values of goalkeepers are. They are shockingly low. Like everyone was saying, Donnarumma was quite a steal. Really, to be fair, the goalkeepers' values are sucky, really bad. If you want to go and get a decent goalkeeper, let's go and get one.
When it comes to Martinelli,
yes,
I get it from a league point of view, but
yes.
I'm thinking that he would be great in Spain because of the way that they play. His pace would kind of help the lower, So for me, he could be really appealing to either Spain or Italy. That sort of league.
I'm thinking Atletico or AC Milan
absolutely.
would be wonderful places to go.
Yeah, and
I highly recommend him to him. I'll recommend some restaurants. I don't mind.
I think he could do really well in those leagues. And then when you turn around and you kind of, the advert for him would be the Champions League.
Yes.
I would have thought that would have made him appealing rather than looking at his Premier League, because most players will struggle in the Premier League but do very well in the La Liga.
Well, if you just look at, I know this is a bad example because you were talking about the Liga and the Serie A, but you just look at Jadon Sancho. Now, I was very lucky to see him at Dortmund. Honestly, I did think at one point he would become world class if he carried on that trajectory because he was absolutely outstanding at Dortmund.
Yeah.
And then he came over here and went, what the hell? And I was like, that is not the same player. I want DNA check-in. I want everything checked because that was not the same player I saw at Dortmund. Well, it's weird because obviously you saw Haaland.
Yeah.
Haaland, obviously, as much as I hate him now, obviously he was at Dortmund, so I didn't mind him at Dortmund.
Yeah.
And he came over here, smashed it again. I was like, okay, cool. I was expecting that from Sancho, but no, nothing. But yeah, Martinelli for me suits.
Swap deal.
La Liga. Well, you never know. Well, the thing is with swap deals, they're not really swap deals anymore. No one really does them because they're so complex and all the paperwork gets entwined in one. So what they tend to do now is they class them as swap deals, but they're not. They're separate deals, and it just kind of knocks off a little bit off whoever you're buying, and they pay a little bit more for who they're buying, and it's kind of works wonders for both teams in the end. But yeah, I personally would highly recommend Atletico Madrid for Martinelli or AC Milan. I have no issues with him going there whatsoever. What else is
What's
there?
going on?
I think he could do well for Athletic Bilbao as well if they ever sell Williams.
Williams
I
was
don't
on a
know.
death row contract. Williams was on a death row contract, and the money that
Yeah,
he's
he
on
is.
as well.
Honestly, I love you geeks, but I was ever so hoping never to hear Williams' name this
Sorry,
summer.
I do appreciate it.
And he's already come into it, and I'm like,
No, not from a personal, for Arsenal. Just I'd imagine.
oh mate, I don't
The
want to hear it.
intra-La
Full
Liga.
stop. I heard it for like 4 months last year. I don't
No.
want to hear his name again this year. Just
I
stay
actually,
there and do whatever. I don't care. Just don't ever talk about moving. What were you going to say, Anthony? Sorry, mate.
no, I was just gonna say, I saw Williams pre-season. I was not impressed going forward when they played
No,
us. I watched that.
no.
I wasn't impressed. The one that I just wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's talk about Alvarez. Is that nearly a foregone conclusion that he will sign
My
with Arsenal?
stance on Alvarez, for people that remember what I said last time, has not changed whatsoever.
70%.
70%. Okay.
Hasn't
So,
changed whatsoever.
are we looking to get rid of one or two up front in terms of
So
Jesus?
right now, our targets are definitely a fullback, a midfielder, and two forwards. So a
Okay.
forward that is, I would say, more versatile. So not
Yep.
necessarily just a striker, but a left winger, and I do mean a proper left winger. None of these Glenn Helder type,
Yeah.
proper
Yeah,
left
yeah,
winger
yeah.
that's going to do the job.
Kvaratskhelia is that player. Him and Nkapia on the left would be insane.
Who's that?
Well,
Shelley.
Kvaratskhelia, yeah, the
Shirley.
yeah.
who
Yeah,
I
yeah,
call
sure.
Sheila. It's a
Yeah.
lot easier if we just all call him Sheila. He won't
Sure,
mind,
Sheila.
honestly.
Yeah,
I'm sure he won't mind. Just to help me out because I cannot say that name whatsoever.
Yeah.
But no, yes, I agree, and I did. I don't know if you were on at the time, geeks, but I did explain that there's no clubs talking to his camp at the moment.
Yeah, I
but
heard-
he
I
is
heard
on
that's-
the out
that's
for PSG.
exciting
So
for me.
I'm guessing he's going to have a chat with the because PSG. It's kind of like a mafia. If you want to leave, you've really got to speak to the Godfather. And if the Godfather doesn't want to sell you, trust me, you ain't going anywhere unless
Yeah.
you want to sleep with the fishes. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's one to watch out for. Berta wise, Berta loves him. Obviously, our new scout knows him very well as well.
yeah.
And we just got to wait and see. But I'm not too concerned if nothing materialises for him because I'm very comfortable with what we've got linked left wing wise anyway. So
Okay, because you already said. I know you said that you was very happy. So
yeah, there's literally no players on that list that I'm concerned by. There's a few, prospects for we're going to have to start looking at prospect signings as well, not just
yeah, of course,
first
the
teamers.
next generation.
And I'm not concerned by any of them. I think we've done our scouting extremely well this year. So yeah, I'm not concerned one. And I'll be honest, a lot of people are losing their heads about being linked with Anthony Gordon. Again,
I rate
chill.
him.
I got look. Anthony Gordon, if he was to come in, and I did say if there was a big if, and I'll keep saying if just so everyone can hear the if. If he comes in, he's not the only player we're signing.
Yeah.
There's lots that we're going to be doing. Coach Ali keeps popping in like the what's that? Where you put your left lug in, your left right.
The can.
Koki.
That's it,
Hokey
thank you,
cokey.
geeks. Hokey cokey.
How
yeah.
are we, boys? You good?
Well, Ali's doing the okey cokey, so yeah, how you
Yeah.
doing, okey cokey, man?
Hokey pokey. I was doing well until Kepa dropped the ball, but yeah. But
Well,
a few days on from that, obviously been listening with a good amount of intent of what you've been saying already, Bobby. I think it's looking good for the summer. I think there's a lot of players that will probably be moving on, as you said. You said about Jay. Well, I don't. Well, you can't. I know your position and the way you have to speak on these things, but from my personal point of view, and when I've had conversations with geeks and everybody in the past, I think people like Jesus, people like Martinelli, Trossard, Calafiori, if he's missing home, Ben White, Norgard, Kepa maybe, and a few others. They all could be well, they could all be leaving, right? And as you said a little bit earlier, we could be getting between 6 and 8 players back in through the door to replace those positions.
Exactly. We've got
I
to
heard
strengthen what we've already got.
Yeah,
We've got a good basis of a squad now,
yeah,
but there are definitely still weaknesses, and we know this. You know, we follow the
Yeah.
data. The data tells us this. Regarding Jesus, because I don't think I have mentioned Jesus. Jesus, for me, I would say is a cert to leave.
Yep.
Berta doesn't like the wages he's on. He doesn't contribute enough to the actual squad. Doesn't do enough. He
yeah.
gets injured a hell of a lot. I think he kind of knows where he wants to go. There's two possible destinations, very different from one another, if I'm being honest. One's South America and one's possibly Italy.
Yeah, AC Milan. Yeah, I heard about that one in terms of AC Milan are looking at him.
Yeah,
Going
I thought
AC
he'd go
Milan.
back home personally. I thought he'd go back to
Yeah,
South
we were
America,
saying in the
but
summer, didn't we, Bobby? You were saying you had a hunch about Palmeiras.
yeah, I still think that could possibly happen. But there is starting to talk that he might just want to go back to Europe, have another
Yeah.
season in the Champions League, which would be interesting. I personally
I mean,
don't
for us, it's
recommend
more
it.
of a position of like, I'm more than happy for all the players that I've just named to leave, as long as we're replacing them with better quality. And the way you've been speaking in the background and on today's show, I think we're going to be buying some quality players in this summer.
Yeah, it's
It's
about
quite an
quality
easy
now.
deal. People keep saying about Shelley, whatever you want to call him, as a
Sheila,
code or
yeah,
whatever,
good old Sheila.
Kvaratskhelia, that's his name. But people like Kvaratskhelia, Bacola, I think. I don't know what your thoughts on Yield is, because obviously he signed a contract and you get a lot of talk on X and various platforms in our discords saying, oh, how's he going to leave because he signed a contract. But I know you've said in the past, signing a new
Yeah,
contract doesn't mean nothing these days.
just a quick
Um,
question: how's Semenyo getting on at Bournemouth? Oh, that's right,
he's
because he
doing very
left.
well, mate. He's lifted up the Carabao Cup in a different shirt.
Exactly, and he literally signed a new. When did he sign his new contract? Last summer, and he left in
Indeed.
January.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything nowadays.
Negotiate
Exactly.
position for the
And
club.
again, looking forward to hearing a lot more Bobby Bangers. You've already confirmed. I mean, this is the thing. The news that's been coming out the recent days with regards to Julian Alvarez, Bobby was throwing out these bangers in January and December. So it's about people are catching up um, with Football Takeover's news. So we're very blessed to have someone like Bobby on our shows and a major part of the Football Takeover. So just fasten your seatbelts and yeah, just the bangers will keep coming, whether they're ins or outs. And if I'm not mistaken, is Martin Odegaard maybe 50-50 of leaving as well?
Well, I just want to cover two people that I do want to talk about because people I
Sure.
know that have lost their. Because obviously, I've the top of the headline is summer plans, which I've kind of touched on, but there is a bit more to it. Tonali I've quickly covered. Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri are the important ones for me because people are losing their minds. Now, currently, the situation is I do think they're both going on loan next season.
Okay, fine.
I think they
I don't mind
personally
that.
both need
I'm pleased with that.
well, that's the situation. Now, if Lewis
Premier
Skelly
League,
or
though.
Ethan wants to, well, that's the important thing. It has to be Premier League loans for us. But if obviously Miles or Ethan comes to Berta or whoever and says, "No, loan's not for me. I need to go," then we'll be open to it. However, their price is mental. I'm just going to quickly ask Anthony, and then I'll ask Geeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask Ali. How much do you think Lewis Skelly's actually market value is?
Um, that's a good one actually. After the back of last season and the little game time he's played, I'd say between 15, 15 million upwards.
Okay, what about you, Geeks?
I think for you've got the English tax Premier League already
Yeah.
of what he does and all the rest of it. I'm saying somewhere between 35 and 40. I know
Okay.
that's really high in normal money, but the market is inflating. So that's where I would go for Lewis-Skelly. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the other side of 50, but yeah, I'd go for
Okay.
35, 40.
Ali?
With geeks, English tax, the ability of both players in their various positions. I'm gonna say between 50. If I'm Andrea Berta and Arsenal, I'm asking for. If geeks, did you say up to 50?
I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was the other side, considering what we spent on
Fine. So
Nolly.
I'll say 60, 75 million each.
Okay. Well, we with these market values, I do ignore English tax because English tax only happens when you're buying from one English team to another. So that there's normally like a 20% markup.
Yeah.
So this is just the normal bog standard market value of MLS. Now that is £47 million.
Yeah.
Wow. So I wasn't too bad off that.
No,
That's great
no.
because let's be honest, boys, he hasn't played this year, so
No,
you would
that's
expect. So
phenomenal.
imagine if he played this season, he would have hit 60, he would have hit 50, he would have gone
Yeah, but
even further
Bobby, do you remember we were
up
talking
north.
a little
No,
while
Bobby.
ago?
Sorry, the two questions there. Ali, what
Yeah,
was your
I do
question, mate?
apologise. Sorry, Ali. I was just going to say we was talking a little while ago about how looking for academies, not to just always look for the superstar, but players to come into the team, like your
Yeah.
Ray Parler, and I was using
Yeah.
Ray Parler as that, and how long he had to wait.
Yeah.
Is there a danger that players like Miles and Ethan might be too impatient because they're still both 18? And, 20, 21 is when you should be confident in your first team place or first team squad place. Are they looking after the breakthrough season? There's always that little check for a lot of talent. Are they reacting too despondently to this season? Or do you think
I think out of the two, Ethan is.
Yeah.
Ethan
If
is
I had to guess, Bobby. If I had to guess.
Ethan is doing very well because obviously he's been given minutes
Assurances.
and obviously he's been sent to Marseille. So he's perfect. Lewis-Skelly obviously a little bit more annoyed, and that's the one. It wouldn't shock me if he comes at the end of May, beginning of June. We need to go. But I'm hoping if we are willing to find him a very good loan where we think that he'll play at least 90% of their games, that should keep him happy.
Yeah.
Because we need to keep him happy. He's only Lewis is only
19.
19, so
Yeah, he's 1 year older than Ethan.
and
both have got time on the contracts.
That's true.
5-6 years.
Miles always knew the path. Like he would be around the first team in 2 years, which on course. But obviously he's not getting the minutes, which for a young lad, you do panic a little bit, and I do get it. And obviously he got to come on Sunday, played in midfield. For anyone that didn't notice that, and there was a couple of games before that he was obviously meant to start, and then we got picked up an injury, didn't we? In the warm-up?
Yes.
Suspension.
And obviously he got dropped. So the faith is there from us, but he just needs to trust us. And unfortunately, and I have to be honest about it, it's very hard to trust Arteta because he says one thing and does another.
I called it last season, actually. I said that the only reason why Skelly played last season is because Cali was injured. He was always on the
for
table.
sure. For
And
sure.
I did say, and I got a lot of backlash for it on X. I was like, look, they're both unique in terms of what they can do, but I think Skelly is just one dimensional where Cali he's got a bit more to his game. So that's where I was just like, look, if Cali was fit last season, Skelly wouldn't have played.
Yeah,
That's a
We've seen the
fact.
result of that.
That's a
We've seen the
fact.
result of that now, and obviously now that Nkapia has come in, Nkapia's taken over, so Skelly's third choice left back.
Mhm.
Playing in midfield. He's had a couple of games in the midfield where he hasn't hit the heights they did last season, and him driving, through the midfield. Because I was saying that if Declan Rice got injured, who are you going to play in midfield? Because Marino's out. Odegaard ain't back yet. People are saying, "I'll try Skelly in the midfield." I was like, look, you have to analyze this manager, which I have done, from since he came in, that he doesn't trust Skelly. Hence why Skelly hasn't been played. He doesn't trust him in that midfield. for some reason or another, is like, yeah. I remember the press conference and he's talking about, Skelly moving into midfield and Arteta giving it, this, that, and the other, the fella, yeah, he'll probably try playing in midfield. And what happened? So if I was Skelly, two options I would do are like, okay, who would I go to in the Premier League if I'm not going to be guaranteed first team football? Either go to a Crystal Palace, on loan for the season. I think Palace would suit him in terms of
Absolutely.
how he plays. I think Palace would be the ideal position for him. What I don't like about this manager is that he will sing your praises, make you sign a new contract, and don't play him, like we did with Ethan. Said to Ethan, I was going to be the understudy for Odegaard, but yet you brought in Eze. Really? You get where I'm coming from. So,
But the reality there is, Anthony, you're right in what you're saying. But when
mhm,
someone like Eze comes available, you're taking it all day, every day, right? And
yeah,
people, in the young individuals like Ethan and Mars Lewis-Skelly, going back to Bobby's original point, if these guys are upset and disappointed to leave and they want to leave, I think it's disgraceful
Yeah, same.
because
yeah, of
you're
course.
18 and 19 years old respectively,
Yeah,
and you've overachieved in your career already at this point in time in terms of your age compared to and the players that you got in front of you. So you've been fast tracked into a team that was full of injuries last season, and that's what
yeah,
the academy's for. When players are injured and you got your second and third choice professional athletes out,
Yeah,
then your academy's gonna be the filler.
yeah.
So
the thing
as
the
long as
thing
they've
what
got
I
good
can
people
expect
around them,
though,
which I believe they do in terms of their families, respectively, again,
the reality,
they
yeah,
should be taking one option only, and that is to go out on loan and come back the season after, like William Saliba did 3 years
yeah,
later for Saliba, and it won't be that long for these two boys because we have players, as Bobby has said on numerous occasions, as well as geeks and everybody else who comes on our shows. Our midfield will be aging. Declan Rice
yeah,
is going to be 29, 30 in a couple of years. Zubamendi's going to be 28 if he's still at the club at that point, 29, you know? So
Yeah,
Norgard's
absolutely.
31. So
are they gonna
Yeah,
they
wait
but
got
for
to
him?
look at the
also,
bigger picture here. And if it's all this short termism and you're going to just take the short term route, oh, I want to play now, I'm a
absolutely,
superstar, then you're not
yeah,
fit for our club in the first place if you've got an attitude like that. Because
No, I get that.
and I'm
Perfect.
not saying that, I'm not pointing the fingers with you, mate. I'm just saying in general,
Mhm.
because that's what it's
Yeah,
like on social media and everywhere else where we look. And these are the narratives that the media, the mainstream media, even go with these. Oh, he's not happy. He's not getting. Well, you shouldn't. You got to earn your minutes. You're not playing in front of Odegaard, Eze, and Kai Havertz if they're all fit at this point. Does
yeah,
Ethan and Nwaneri have outstanding talent? Of course he has. He's proving that in France. He scored on the weekend. He scored a
yeah,
couple of hours before we played our cup final. Funny enough, but does that mean we've made a mistake for letting him out and letting him develop as a football player? The answer is no, because
no,
Max
mm,
Dowman is going to take Ethan and Nwaneri's minutes, and he's done that very well already by putting in that performance that he did against Everton. So
yeah,
there's swings and roundabouts with this stuff, and Arsenal are in a position now, in my personal opinion, where we can afford to have all these talents, young talents, put them out on loan like Chelsea and the like do, like the cities do. And if they've got the patience to hang around in a year or two's time, they'll be first choice players at Arsenal Football Club. If they don't have the patience, their career may go down the Swanee, and they might end
yeah.
up
oh
at a
yeah,
West Ham
100%.
or a Palace or a Brentford. So it's totally up
Yeah,
to them and their families and their agents and whoever look after them to
yeah,
advise them correctly, because that's what happens with these players. They don't get advised well at a young age. There's very few that stick it out. Look at Phil Foden. He stayed at
yeah,
City, but he was on the bench for 4 or 5 years. But he's ended up winning all these trophies, and he's still a bench player for them. He hasn't even made it into their first 11 on a regular basis. So it just depends on the attitude of the player and obviously the drive and the hunger that the club have to keep these talents. And like Geek said earlier, if they don't want to stay, and Bobby said in terms of the value, then we're going to sell them for handsome money, and it's all profit. So
Yeah.
for Arsenal
They could.
Football Club, I don't love players like I used to. I don't
Well,
I
I
don't
don't
have
have
an
an
attachment
attachment.
to these
Yeah,
players
that's
like I
what I'm
used
saying.
to,
I don't have.
if I'm
Yeah,
being honest.
exactly.
Your
The only thing.
Henrys, your Lundbergs, your Ray Parlers, your Tony Adams, Steve Bolds, Lee Dixons, even Ashley Cole. I'll say it. I know
Yeah.
Bobby's not going to like me saying that, but he was a quality player, man. And when he was
Yeah.
there and when he was playing for us, he came through the academy. He was an amazing football player. And I've always said, even when he went to Chelsea and he done us the way he did, he's a world class player, man. And he left a world
Yeah.
class player. And he was
The thing
part of
with
our
Rashford.
history and he won us trophies before he left.
Yeah,
Unlike
and
your
that's the
Van
thing.
Persies and your Fabregases and all that stuff, yeah? So
I think.
for me, I'm not as attached to these players as I once was. So it's more, I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm not a player fan anymore. I
I
never
think.
was. I was always an Arsenal fan, but um, I just feel like football today has changed. So my attachment to these players is slightly distant. So I just want them to perform well, win for the club, and if you want to leave after that, no problem. You've done your bit. You've made your history. You're part of the
Yeah.
legacy. If you're a hero or a legend or these cult heroes, sorry, I should say. So I don't care where they land as long as Arsenal winning trophies. We're good. Um,
I
and that's
think
where
it's
I'm at with
very.
that, Bobby and boys, because
Mm,
we need to start selling properly. We don't
yeah, I think
sell well, and we haven't done for a decade, if not
yeah,
more. Oxlade
Yeah, but
Chamberlain, if I'm not mistaken,
but on
Bobby,
that,
is
Ali,
our record transfer at
we
35
haven't
mil.
had talent that people have wanted to buy it either. There's not a lot that we've, this would be the first sort of windows where we've actually got players in our squad that would be attractive to other teams.
Well
oh
said.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And it goes back to as in terms of those two individuals. Yes, it is about mentality. It's about do they want to stick around because it could
Mm,
be a case that they could end up like Amari Hutchinson, that he
absolutely.
didn't want to stick. He didn't want to stick around. You know, I get where you're coming from. Like with Ashley Cole, he cemented his place at left back. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different kettle of fish. These two guys can't get in the first team. Yeah, going out on loan. Yeah, they can go out on loan. If they want to go out on loan, that's fantastic. Let them get the experience underneath their belt and come back and see what happens going forward because eventually they want to get called up to the England squad.
Of
You get where I'm
course.
coming
And
from. So
Lewis-Skelly's already done that.
yeah, exactly. So, I know Ethan, he wants to get a call to the England squad going forward. So I understand that, if the manager can't accommodate them going forward, either send them on loan for another year or two, let them learn their trade properly, let them come back a year or 2 years and see what happens going forward. Hopefully this manager, if he's here if he wins the Premier League, if he's here after that, who knows? I'm saying this. That's another story with him.
Yeah.
Because I've always been vocal about certain individuals, even on Discord and on X, like with Norgard, like Bobby was saying with Norgard. Why did you buy him if you're not going to play him?
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
Zubimendi look out of sorts. You've got another guy who's got Premier League experience.
Yeah.
Play him.
Vast,
You know what I'm saying?
vast
Play him, but
experience.
you don't. And I understand if Berta is annoyed in terms of certain situations, and if that was me, I would be too. I'll be like in there, like, what's going on? You told me to get this guy, you don't play him. Like
Yeah.
he's heavily reliant on his first team. And I said, look, if Declan Rice went down,
We're done.
we're
Totally.
finished.
It's Arteta's
SA
fault. Yeah, for
But this
sure.
for
SA's
me, it's
SA's out
like
for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and it's a good thing that Odegaard's coming back. And apparently, I don't know how true the rumors are, but Arteta spoke to all the players after the loss, and they're saying, regarding Odegaard. I don't know how true that is. I'm not flying the wall inside that changing room, but it's a good thing that he's going to be back, even though he's not my cup of tea in terms of he slows down the play a lot and he's just
mm,
he's predictable. He's going to do. He's either going to backwards pass it or pass the ball out to Saka on the right
Saka.
hand side
Yeah.
going forward. It's a good thing that he's coming back because Eze was a big blow. Like literally, for the Carabao
He
Cup
was just
final when
starting
we
to hit
had
some
a
rhythm, wasn't he, Anthony?
yeah, exactly. He was starting to hit the form. that's a big blow going forward. But again, it goes back to the manager that they need to have a sit down. I think Josh needs to have a sit down with him as well to say, look, you can't be doing what you're doing, playing your first 11 week in, week out, and Declan Rice is knackered, Zubimendi lapsing concentration. You've got Norgard there, you don't play him. Like, what are you doing? I think
For
Josh
me,
really needs to sit down and have that
Miles
conversation with him.
is the left 8 cover for Declan.
Yeah.
Because and the
Yeah.
stuff he's been doing at left back gives you an appreciation for the defensive screening of that side of the defence. So
Yeah.
it's then the left 8 from a defensive point of view. He should be even better.
He
And I
doesn't
feel like
trust
there
him.
are minutes he can take off Declan to allow Declan to kind of see.
I
how
agree with
because
that.
But he doesn't know. That's the thing.
If you can throw Miles in at the Bernabeu,
Yeah.
you're telling me he can't see out a game against Fulham, or he can't see out a game against Burnley, or he can't
Facts,
see
Well,
out
this
facts,
is-
a game
facts.
at West Ham.
Well, this is the thing though. If you look at him from last season to this season, you can see he's lost his confidence. As soon as Cali was fit, started the first game of the Premier League season and never looked back. And now that Hincapié has come in, never looked back. So when he's played, he's not the same player because again, it goes back to the fact when it comes to this manager, when you drop a player, it's very hard to get back your confidence, your mojo in terms of how you was the season before. And again, that's on this manager. I hate what he's done in terms of like not playing, MLS in the midfield because Declan Rice looks like I'm like, you've got opportunities to play. You've got opportunities to play Norgard. Yes, Marino's not there, but you've got 2 players that you're not using. I wouldn't be surprised if MLS says, I want to leave. If you're not going to feature me in this team, I'm going to leave. You get around kind of from
patience though as well. He's
Yeah,
18.
I know. Yeah, he's 18. He's 18 years old. I get that. He's
19.
18 years old. Oh, sorry, he's
19.
19 years old. I get that.
But if
it
you're
was
given opportunities and you're not playing well, you've got to take that on the chin as well and realise that.
Exactly. Why is he getting suspended in the FA Cup games? And then, then the fan base, like Geek said, he's not playing, this and that. No. Have your discipline on the pitch. I know you're not a left back, but blimey.
Yeah.
I saw him against Wigan. He was lost at left back.
Yeah, it was.
It's because he's not interested to play that position anymore. So that's on the player as well as the manager. I'm not Arteta in on Arteta out. And this is a transfer show. So for me, this is all about like what Bobby's saying. Like they're either gonna go out on loan or they're gonna leave. But the reality is they should stay and go out on loan for a season and let Arsenal do the transfer moves they need to do to replace those 2 bodies. So if those 2 were to go out on loan, Bobby, what are we looking to get in? Is that like a Bawadi again? Something like that?
Well, we're definitely getting a new midfielder. It's a player that I think will be used well, in my opinion. We might also be able to get another one in. So that could be 2 new midfielders along with 2 new forwards.
Is the ref for one of them?
Hopefully 2 defenders as well. One being a fullback, one possibly versatile defender.
Yeah. The guy from RB Leipzig, I think. I heard about that. Is there any legs to that one in the guy from RB Leipzig? Left centre back.
Lukaku, or whatever his name is.
Yes.
Not really. Not much legs in it, if I'm honest.
Okay.
We kind of know who we want as the versatile defender, and hopefully that person.
I don't know what you've done to me, Law, but you've
summer.
knocked me out of a stream by phoning me.
So Bobby, are the players the players that we're looking for, are they in the Premier League, majority of them, or are they from abroad?
Oh, they're from all over, mate.
Like the midfielders, the defenders.
Yeah, there's so many players. Berta and his scouting network have done an amazing job, which is why when they sit down at the end of next month and finalise everything, it's going to take a while. So yeah, Ali's gone as well. I'm not kicking anyone out. That's just everyone seems to. Anthony, you still there? There we go. Is Ali back?
Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't hear you guys. I don't know if
No,
you
it's
heard my
okay.
question. I just said,
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
these players that we're linked to, are they majority from the Premier League or are they from various
Ali,
European
you're very
countries?
faint, bro.
They're from all over Europe, Premier League, Europe. As I did say, our scouting network has done an amazing job. So at the end of April, when they all sit down and they decide exactly who we're going for, 2 of them have already been worked out, and I do think that those 2 will be finalised when they feel the right time is right.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not concerned by any of the players on the lists. And when we talk about fullbacks, there's about 8 people that I know of that we've looked at and scouted, and we like all of them. It's all about prices, and those will not get discussed until closer to the end of the summer,
Sure.
or end of the season, really. Because I know a lot of people saying the young lad who's playing at Calgary, who's actually owned by Atalanta,
Yeah.
Palestra, what his name is. He's one, but we've looked at Vanderson. I've not seen that in the press from Monaco.
Speaking
Okay.
of which, the goalkeeper from Atalanta, I know there was a loose link to that. Is there any legs in that? Because I know you said there was a
We
goalkeeper from Parma
we've got
that we was looking
Yeah,
at.
there's Parma one. There's another couple in Italy. As you probably can tell, our main scout is Italian, so he knows his stuff in Italy. But we have looked at there's a youngster in Germany as well. We've looked at. So look with Kepa. Kepa's an interesting one. As far as I'm aware, I think he wants to go back to La Liga. I think he's kind of organised a potential move back there.
Right.
I do think we're actually going to make money on it, so I've got no issues. I have no hatred towards Kepa. I don't care what happened at the weekend. Raya makes mistakes as well. All goalkeepers make
Yeah, they all do.
It's just one of those things. You just move on from it. So if he was to go, and look, at the end of the day, he is what 30.
31, 32.
Yeah, so we're going to have to, and Raya's 30 now, so we do need to
Mm-hmm.
kind of look at the future. Setford is, for me, at least 2 or 3 seasons away from even considering to be number 1. He's still making some silly little errors. He's just in training. So yeah, we need to look into that situation. I don't think we'll pay a lot of money for a goalkeeper, if I'm honest. But as I said, Raya's value right now is mental. I can't believe how much he's worth.
Must be
But
around about 80 to 90 million right now.
oh
Like
no, he's not even. I'll tell you who's more valuable. Marino.
Wow.
That's the goalkeeper market at the moment. The goalkeepers, the values are shockingly low, which is why you can understand why Donnarumma went to City. I thought that was a one-off, but all goalkeepers' market values have dropped drastically. I don't know why.
but surely
Bobby,
he's
is
gonna be
Elise on?
number one. He's gonna be
Will
number one
Elise
for
be on the
Spain,
move?
innit?
Elise, for me, I know his destination,
Liverpool.
and it's not us.
Liverpool.
It's
I
going to
think
be.
it's
He's
Liverpool.
going to go for a Salah replacement, surely.
I'll go
Well,
on a hunch and say Elise. I think his destiny is Liverpool to replace Salah.
well, we all knew Salah was going to be leaving this summer, so it's no shock to any of us.
On a free
Yeah.
note, is the shock.
It's not technically a free. There is the owners are playing silly buggers once again. They're doing something that will piss off the Liverpool fans once they find out what it actually is, if they can work it out.
Wow.
Yeah, they're horrid. They're horrid. I know a lot of people didn't like KSC. I'll be honest. I'd rather have KSC than FSG. So yeah, they're horrid. Right, I do want to get into the comments because I knew this would turn into a part 2-parter. This could turn into a 3-parter at this rate.
Which is fine.
Right.
More transfer shows, the better.
But hang on, whoa. I'm the one that's got the host here, so
Exactly.
I will do Friday. I will do Friday. I'll see if I can make time next week. There's a possibility I could, maybe one more next week. But then we are back onto normal football. Big up to Mo saying evening. I can see Tamina, and I'm going to be very careful how I word Tamina's comments because I know she likes to trap me. Big up to Izzy saying good evening, everyone. Is Alvarez coming to replace Jesus or be a starter on the left wing? No, not a left winger. Which means, well, in all fairness to Alvarez, he can do right, left, 10, 9.
Yeah.
He's going to come in as a versatile forward if he was to come. Which means we'll only get one natural left winger, making 2 attackers after letting go of Jesus, Trossard and Martinelli. I do think all 3 of those will go, and as I did say, I do think we'll get 2 forwards in. Don't be surprised if we get 3, because we are looking at there's an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old who their values, I'd say, are about 30 to 40 million. So we're looking at the future as well, which I like. But we are getting elite players for the first 2 forwards.
Is it the guy from Ajax that we're looking at as well? He's a striker. He's a winger and he plays a striker as well.
He's really, really good. We have looked at him, but I think he's untouchable at the moment in Ajax's world, which I think means he'll probably move next summer. Not this summer.
Shot at
next
Lils
summer. Bouadi, for me, will leave this summer. I think he knows his destination, and I think everyone else does as well. I'll be very surprised if Bouadi is still at Lille come the beginning of the next season.
Good player.
To me, no, I can see this one. I can see this one coming. Right. I am not going to say it.
Are we signing Nico Williams? Is that what she...
Oh, God.
No, Julian Alvarez to Arsenal.
Alvarez it knows where he's going. And the club knows where he's going. And we'll just move on from there.
Bobby, will that be a before World Cup or after World Cup?
Oh, this is the problem. The problem with the World Cup.
Yeah.
The problem with the World Cup, and I'm sorry, but this is the way that the world works in football. The media will want to play the story. There will be people wanting to make hundreds of thousands of pounds of the betting market.
Headlines and adverts, yeah.
So I'm hoping some transfers get done before the World Cup, because if not, they are going to go all over the World Cup, and there's a certain plonker that runs that certain country, and he's going to love it himself, and he's going to want some of that as well. I'm not going to get into that. It's a whole different show that is. But
the
totally different channel.
Oh God, it's just.
Was World Cup being host again? Was it been?
It's in the USA, Mexico, Canada.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't even bother getting me on that guy. Like,
exactly.
Let's keep it moving, boys.
That's for another conversation.
Yeah,
it's a football channel.
But this is a situation that is, when it comes to big transfers, and Alvarez would be a big transfer. Big names. If Sheila was to be available, that will be probably sorted out a lot quicker than it is in the media. The media will egg that out as much as humanly possible, even though the club knew where he was going. But it will be egged out for at least 3 or 4 weeks. People will make millions on it. And that's just the way it is.
Bobby, if Arsenal win the Premier League quite quickly, just say 2-3 games before the end of the season, for example, do you think all these, some of these transfers will get over the line quicker, or does that make a difference?
No, makes no difference.
Because of the media.
Ali, I can't hear you properly,
Oh, he's really loud for me.
No, I can hear him, but he sounds faint.
Who, me or Ali?
No, Ali.
Oh, Ali's super loud.
Yeah, same for me.
It's you, Anthony.
Yes, either my mic or something.
Yes, Tamina. What else is Tamina saying?
How many players Arsenal getting in the summer, and what midfielder and goalkeeper and left winger and right back and left back? Blimmin' heck.
And 9
Tamina,
and 10 and 8
you are
and
demanding. You are demanding. Look, it wouldn't shock me if we get 7 players in. It wouldn't shock me if we got 10, because there is a scenario where 10 is possible. But I just don't see it happening. But there is a scenario that is 10 is possible. Left back, I don't think we're getting a specific left back. I do think we're going to get a specific right back. Left back will be covered by the versatile defender if he does come. I do think he will leave. I think he will be letting the club know that he will leave.
Was
It's
that
not going to be a
different
big. It's
colour?
not going to be a. I'll be honest. It's not going to be someone you're going to all go. Oh my god! Honestly, curb your excitement. He's a
So
good
not Lewis
player.
Hall then. Okay.
Lewis. Well, Newcastle is a whole different story. That all depends on one
Where they
coefficient
finish.
points. Well, this is the thing. Depending on who finishes where and who wins what, the Champions League could be open up to like 7 clubs for the Premier League. So
Yeah.
that will change everything. Because if 7th gets Premier League as well, Newcastle will make it, and they will change the whole persona about what they want to do and who they can keep and who they've got to sell, because they are going to have to sell someone.
But is Timo really a viable? Sorry to cut you, Bobby. Is Timo really a viable replacement? Because I know he's injury prone. Like
Yeah, I
my
get where
PT
the
trains him. My PT trains him as well. And I spoke to my PT about it, and it's like he apparently talks highly of Arsenal. But I'm just like, I know Timo's been. I know he was interested in me years ago before he went to Newcastle,
yeah.
but he's always been injury prone. So would it be wise for us to go for a guy who is injury prone and end up like Benny Blanco, like all the time on the,
Yeah, I get where
on
you're coming from.
the injury table?
The fact that we've got Berta relaxes me a lot. Berta does so much more research than what any other person would do. And I'm not having a pop at Eddie, by the way. It's not nothing to do with Eddie. It's more just Berta is. I'm sure
He's
he's
just
got
like
OCD. He's undiagnosed OCD. I'm sure it is. I'm sorry, Andrea, but honestly, you're mental. With Livramento, I do like him, but I do get the injury record, and I'm sure Berta is fully aware of that. But there is a lot of right backs that we've looked at. There's a lot that are not in the media, like I said, Vanderson from Monaco. I think it's the fact that we want someone that will bomb forward. Ben does it well, but he does it like, how can I put it? Like Lurch from the Addams Family. We want someone that's a bit more
Power.
zippy. Yeah, but can also defend very, very well. So
Yeah.
his first, very much like Livramento. Livramento is perfect at it. But there are so many other right backs that can do it. And just unfortunately, Arsenal fans, and I'll be honest, most fans of any clubs, only talk highly about players they're linked with. They don't actually go out on their own and go and look at some players and go, oh, that's a good player. Oh, that's a good player. But they have to see it in the media before they go, oh, yeah, that player's brilliant. Have you ever seen him? No. But he's really good. Well, then go and watch him. Go and watch other players, because there
Bobby,
are so
what's the
many good right backs.
is the situation still the same with Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard? Is it one or the other, or they maybe both stay or one go?
Kai is an interesting situation. It depends what happens with Munich. Munich are interested. They could put a bid in. For Havertz, the price would have to be around 60 to 70 million. We will have to take a small hit.
Which is fine. That's good money, though.
Yeah, and I've always said about Havertz, I love him to bits. I love the fact that he's plays for Arsenal, but I do think he perfectly suits Munich's style of football. He would bang goals in, and I hate saying that because I'm a Dortmund fan, but he would bang goals in for fun at Munich.
What about Odegaard? What's his
Odegaard's value is around 70 million, which if anyone remembers, a couple of seasons ago it was nearly 100. So that's dropped off a bit.
Any interest, or is there any movement on his side?
There is interest, and I think he also is interested in leaving as well, because he knows what he knows what we're trying to do, and he knows that the two don't fit. Yeah, basically, and he knows what the media are like here. There's going to always be a scapegoat. Whatever happens, what happened on Sunday very quickly. One person was a scapegoat. It was one player, but there was a whole bigger picture than just him. And Odegaard's got some personal stuff going on as well.
Right.
So it's again a wait to see, but it wouldn't shock me if he was to leave. If he was to leave, we have it covered, because there are players that we have in line if certain players do leave.
Roger.
Perfect. And what about Saka? What's the situation there? Because obviously I said it on the last stream when we were doing the instant reaction to the cup final. Obviously, we know we're getting a left winger, but it's quite concerning the right wing and Saka's performances this season and end of last season. Obviously, his hamstring surgery and him coming back how he has, he hasn't obviously got back to his full potential. Is there any worry in the Arsenal ranks in Berta's eyes
No,
in terms of not selling him, but to get another right winger?
no
Okay, fine.
concern. What obviously for people that are aware of what we're doing youth wise, we are obviously looking at right wingers. We've got one coming in next January, I believe, the Irish lad.
Yes.
So he's coming in. So we are looking for the future, but
I
the
thought
whole
Darwin was
point
that.
of say that again. Sorry, mate.
I thought Darwin was that in terms of the right wing position.
He's more in field, isn't he?
Dowman is that. See, I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, he's going to take Nwaneri. So Nwaneri and Dowman have always been classed as two different styles of players. So, but with the good thing with Dowman is he's 16 years old.
Yeah.
The Irish lad is 18 years old.
Okay.
He's older. He's older. Well, the reason he couldn't move, he can't move until he's 18. He turns 18. Is it January? It's either December or January this year, or next year. So he's actually older than Max. Now, obviously, Max has progressed a lot quicker than we expected. But what's wrong with having two fantastic young right wingers?
Yeah.
And this Irish lad can also play on the left as well.
So then what? It'll be Saka and then the 18-year-old endowment, basically,
Well,
and Madueke.
Well,
And
exactly.
Madueke.
Can't forget Madueke. But the data supports this regarding what we're doing with the left wing will help Saka out a lot.
Okay, amazing. That's fine.
Because, and we tried to do it last summer. We just didn't.
Three-pronged attack.
There you go. I know I've said it last summer. It just didn't pan out because one thing or the other. But once we get that three-pronged attack, it'll be kind of four as well with a very good attacking midfielder. Obviously, we've got Eze, just so everyone's fully aware. But we are one hell of a team. And then Saka, the pressure on Saka, like from the defenders, will ease because they can't just worry about Saka. Obviously, they're not too worried about Trossard or look what Trossard did against Nunes. Nunes, bear in mind, is a midfielder. Trossard didn't even panic him. So, it is what it is. Right, I'm going to go through these comments because this is going to turn into about a 7-parter at this rate, isn't it? Right. Will you stop it, Ali?
Bobby bangers every 3 days.
God, no. I need to figure my voice, people. I sell Ben White and Leah Trossard and Martinelli and Gabby Jesus and Odegaard and Kepa need to go too. A lot of them will go. Odegaard is, as I've said, could be one to watch. Big ups, Connor. Hope you're doing well. Is there any way of Arsenal signing Yildiz? Yildiz, I still think, will be a news story this summer. I still think I know where he's going. Let's wait and see if that does pan out. But just because you sign a new contract means absolutely nothing. Alvarez will move this summer. Tonali will move this summer. But don't rule out Italy. I know a lot of people keep saying United and all this and Arsenal and all that. Don't rule out Italy. That's very unfair to, especially to an Italian, because if he wants to go back home, let him. And this is the thing.
Only 25.
Well, exactly, but Italians don't particularly like being out of Italy that much. They don't. It's well known. You can look through the whole history of the Premier League. Most Italians don't like England. They like to go back home. Can you see Trossard and Martinelli being sold? Yes, I can see both of them being sold. Big up to Commander Summer. Hi, Bobby. It's great to see you back live. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. Tell me we're getting a world-class left winger. Yes, and both Trossard and Martinelli are going out. I do believe they will both go out. Yes. Linked with a Brazilian fullback. It depends which one you're on about. I know there was one in South America we've actually linked with. He had a stupid, ridiculous release clause, like 95 million or something.
Wow.
There's one of the. In all fairness, they all do them in South America.
It must be Dani Alves region, boy. For the 95 million, must be Dani Alves.
Honestly,
the
South
not reject, like literal clone of him. That's what.
The money that they've got in South America is a lot bigger now, so they can spend money on our players Like that's why I'm hoping Jesus goes back home, because they've got enough money to get him, because Jesus is worth pretty much nothing nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what is his actual value?
So his market value is between, well, I'd say about 18 million, which is
Okay, that's
nothing.
more than I thought.
We
That's
paid
more
what,
than you thought.
45?
Yeah.
Oh
we
yeah,
paid what, 40?
let's ignore how much we're going to lose on Pierre, because that will make me cry. So let's just ignore that bit.
All right,
As long
fair
as we're
enough.
getting money through the door, that's all that matters
Yeah.
to us.
But we've
And
still
we're
got
saving his
players out on
wages.
loan, haven't we? Like Zim.
Yes,
and-
give your oh gee, see geeks, you're going to make this last about 10 parts
I'm
now,
just
aren't
thinking
you?
they're going to come back, and I'll be selling them, right? Yeah.
Yes, Kivior's gone. Kivior will go. I don't see any scenario where Kivior stays. Who's the other one?
Bobby, I'm going to jump out and jump back in because I can't hear the other two.
All
I
right,
don't know
mate.
if it's yeah.
That's
I don't know if
weird.
it's yeah. I can't. I can hear them, but it's not loud.
Oh,
So
okay,
as
mate.
before, let me
Oh,
jump
all right.
out and jump back
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Jump
no
back
worries,
in.
mate.
All
No
right.
worries. That's crazy. Because you can hear me. Anyway,
But you're the
what was I
important
talking
one,
about?
so that's all that matters.
No, I'm not the
Kivior.
important one. Yes, Kivior and Fabio Vieira.
Oh, Fabio Vieira, that's it.
Yeah, they will both be sold. Let's just ignore those. They will just be sold. All right, it's as simple as that. I'm going to take this Anthony out, but I'll bring this Anthony back in. There we go. Let's see if that works. Is that better, mate?
Oh, now I've lost Bobby.
Hello, Anthony.
Have you lost me? Can anyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me? What's that from? Is everyone there? Because everyone gone quiet now. It's worrying me.
Oh wow. Let me see.
I don't know if anyone can hear me now. Can everyone hear me? Let me just
that's
check
a
the
new thing. I
comments.
can't hear anyone.
Right, let's have a look. Right, hi Bobby. Can we expect Arsenal to break our own transfer record this summer, both collectively, which I think was
Yeah, my thing's
250 minutes?
bugging out.
I think it might be StreamYard, you know,
It's
guys.
bugged out.
It possibly could be StreamYard. We'll have a look and see. Right, we're going to go through the comments because there are so many. Geeks, can you hear me? I don't think anyone can hear me. Can anyone hear me? Let's have a look. Yes. All right, everyone can hear me, so that's good. As long as everyone can hear me, that's the main thing. Right, let's get where we were on the comments because there are so many. This is mental. Right, let's have a look. Coach Ali's here. Who
Yes,
else we
sir.
got? Okay, Anthony's back. Anthony, you there?
Okay, that's weird because that all clicked back in for me then.
I don't know what's
For some
going on,
reason,
mate.
I think my thing
No.
is just bugging
All
out.
good.
So
You're back. I can hear. So what I was saying, I can hear you live on the stream. I checked YouTube, and I
Yeah.
can hear you on YouTube absolutely clearly. I'm
Yeah.
just losing. I lost you in the studio.
See,
yeah,
it could be
that's the
it
thing
could
as
be a
well.
StreamYard issue.
Yeah, I
then.
lost both of
It
you
could be a
in studio. It's
StreamYard.
just like I couldn't hear you or Ali.
I
It was just like, it's very
apologise.
faint.
It's possibly StreamYard then, because it's making me
So,
panic.
If we're all
'cause I don't
good
know
now,
if
let's
anyone-
keep it moving.
Yeah, let's keep it
Yeah.
moving because this is going to turn into
Bobby,
10
let's
parts.
go,
Yeah,
brother.
Go for it, Bob.
Right, can we? So basically, on this, yes, I can see us breaking records this summer, including outs, which is the important one. We need to break the records on the outs. But yes, we can. Don't expect a huge net
Is what I'm
spend though.
talking.
Net spend, you're going to have to be closer to 100.
Can you boys hear him?
100.
No.
Has it played up again?
Geeks, can you hear him?
No, it's just still being weird, mate.
Oh,
We can hear
jeez.
you though.
You
I'm
can
pretty
hear me.
sure you're as far as YouTube is concerned, you're all good.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Sorry, no offence. That's the only thing that matters to me is YouTube can hear me.
Absolutely.
Sorry, guys. I don't want to be rude. Right, so individually over 100. 100 possible.
I'll have to probably go
Possible.
YouTube on my TV.
Possible
Yeah.
we could break the record for a transfer
wow.
signing. I want to hear we are targeting some elite attacking players, left winger, striker, and elite centre midfielder. It depends what you class as elite. A lot of people say certain people are world class and all this kind of stuff.
Not injured.
I personally am happy with what we're going for. And as far as I'm concerned, if that's all that matters to me, that should all that matter. they're good players coming in. Do we have someone already in green for the summer? We have 2 currently in green. Morgan Rogers, please. Morgan Rogers, again, as I've covered regarding Newcastle, was very similar to Aston Villa. You have to wait and see what happens with the Champions League. Sheila to Arsenal says Tamina. Elliot Anderson to Arsenal. Anderson, I don't know where he's going, I'll be honest. Anderson's an interesting one.
City.
Well, we'll wait and see. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of unknowns currently that could happen between the next 2 months. Wharton, Bliminick. Tamina, you don't want too much, do you? Wharton, again, I can't see him staying at Palace. I can't see Anderson staying at Forest. I can't see Wharton staying at Palace. I definitely can't see Tonali staying.
I was going to ask about that.
Tonali staying at Newcastle. He'll go somewhere. Bawabi, for me, will definitely leave Lille. I'm pretty sure I know where he's going. I'm pretty sure he knows where he's going too. Big up to Neil. Hi, gents. Hope you're all done. We're only on 6:36 p.m. on actual time of this comment, so we are an hour and 20 minutes behind. This is not going to go well, is it? And Bobby, please can I have info on Odegaard, White, Martinelli, Calla? I love him. I haven't really covered Calla actually. Is that Anthony back?
Yeah, now I can hear you in the studio.
All right, cool. I was just going to leave both the things up. I don't care that you're on it twice. As long as you can hear me, I don't care. Right. My God. This is going to be 100 parts at this race. Right, Calla. Calla is someone just to watch out for. It wouldn't shock me if he leaves. I'll be honest. So we'll wait and see. His value, though, is... Let's have a look. We're going to make a profit on him. So that's all that matters for me. As long as we're making profit. Saliba, why has he put Saliba there? Okay, Saliba eventually will leave. We all know this. We all know where he's going. Anthony's. This could be a StreamYard issue, people. I do apologise. Right. So with Saliba, we all know where he's going to go eventually. But this summer, no, not happening.
That's fine.
Ins, Calvarez, Sheila, Vinicius Junior.
Blimey.
Neil, what have you been smoking? Vinicius Junior. I don't see, if he was to leave Real Madrid, I don't see him going to any European club. The only one. It's more about who can afford him because his wages are ridiculous. His transfer would be ridiculous.
No, it'll be the Middle East, wouldn't it?
We'll ignore Man City this summer, if I'm honest.
At the present moment.
Right now, the way I look at City, I am not concerned about them in the summer window whatsoever.
Okay.
I suppose if they were to sell Sheila, that I suppose PSG could go for him. Maybe, I don't know. But I don't. Not for us. Way too much and one hell of a nightmare. What's happening, Arteta? Is he gone if he wins or doesn't win? Does he walk? If he doesn't win,
actually, if he went there and you get Sheila,
P45 time.
If we don't win anything, he's gone. I don't know if anyone saw the way that Josh looked at Arteta. That was a lot longer than people assume. Josh was furious with the performance, not the result. The result, at the end of the day...
I think that's valid, though, Bob, because I think that's where we all were.
Yeah, we all know you can lose finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's the performance. That performance was horrendous. Yep. Absolutely horrendous. It's a very good job I wasn't around for the reaction. Everyone getting tricked with links like Alvarez. We only saw. I can promise you, Chris, that's not the case this year. I know that there's going to be some links that are not real, and that's fine. That's just the way that media works. Media like to create stories. That's their job. But yeah, we are looking for elite players now. Anthony, I hope you're there somewhere, mate. Den,
I'm still I'm still I'm
Big up
still
there.
It just keeps on dropping in and out.
no,
Every
it's all
5 minutes.
right,
I'm
mate.
hearing you,
Honestly,
I'm
it's just
hearing you.
mental.
Yeah.
Den saying, evening, guys. Hope you're well. I'm stressed now. I was quite kind of relaxed before the show. I'm stressed now. Dylan saying, hello, everyone. How are you, mate? I have a list of about 7 players. Can you give me yes or no? Is he seriously giving me the 7 players? Let's see if Dylan gives me the 7 players first.
51 players.
Yeah.
What you tell me?
Who's the Chelsea reject we sign? If I had to be bet, it will be Garnacho. Regarding Chelsea, it's going to be interesting actually because they are going to have to function very differently this summer. So do they have to force some people out? I'll be honest, if Hato became available, I have no issues going to get him.
Same here. Me and you were in agreement
So,
on that.
yeah, so I don't call
I
him a
know he
reject.
hasn't done well for them this year, but the player that I know from Ajax,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
what he was
100%.
doing,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm literally got my Ajax shirt on now. That's how much of an Ajax fan I am. Hato, 100% would happily have him up against Hincape. Everyone knows how much I love Hincape, but I wanted Hato first. Hincape was always my second
Caicedo off
choice.
them if they want.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take that.
Big up to Angie. Yay! How you doing, Angie? I haven't seen you for a while, to be fair. King Von O'Block. Hello, mate. Heard we are expeding a deal for Farah. Any update so far? I hope I've covered it. I have spoke to him. Spoke about him.
I spoke to him personally.
I can promise you that won't happen. Anything to do with Georgian people, and I have to get interpreters. I have 0 chance of me doing any English with them. Big up to Chris. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Can you tell us the players that are 99% done? Pretty please, with a cherry on the top. No. Hang on, Dylan. What you have been given is a beautiful game of Arsenal versus Real Betis in Dublin. You can't expect any more than that, my friend. Okay? Enjoy that. That is your present from me to you. Vanderson or the Roma fullback. I know which one you're on about. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But that is the type of player that we're looking at. So all these players, they're all people that we've scouted. Look, at the end of the day, if you think we only scout like 2 or 3 players, you are insane. We have scouted over 400. We've got 160 players that we are happy with. We've now got to narrow those down, and that all involves money as well. How much are certain people going to go for? How much wages do they want? All that kind of stuff. Are they going to be happy with being squad rotated? All that kind of stuff. It's a lot of more stuff that goes into it after that we've scouted.
Family transitioning over.
Exactly. Do you like a nice cold London? Probably not. Do you like a bit of food poisoning on a Friday night from the local kebab shop? All that kind of stuff. It's just one of those things you have to kind of... Sorry. I've gone into... Honestly, this was meant to be a nice, quick show. This is not turned into it.
Apologise.
No, mate, honestly. As I said, part 2 will be on Friday. I can guarantee I'll be available Friday. Dean Pierce saying, good evening, gents. Can't watch live, so I will catch up soon. Dean, sit down with a cup of coffee because it's going to take you a long time to watch this back, my friend. Give me Alvarez, Tonali and Sheila. That's all I want. See, Dean knows who I'm on about when it comes to Sheila. Commiserations. But all about how you react now. Media pressure will start. Oh, we'll ignore the media. Sod the media. The media can shove it up their arse.
Yeah, they've been doing it for 3 years now.
Yeah. Can I ask Bobby, are Liverpool targeting the same players regardless if Slot is manager or not in the summer? Obviously, if we get Champions League too. Right, Liverpool very quickly, because obviously, look, I know we mainly talk about Arsenal on here, but this is a football transfer show, so I'm quite happy to talk about Liverpool as well. Liverpool, as far as I'm aware, regarding who possibly will be replacing Slot, the person that wants to come in has his own wishes regarding who he signs. So if that person doesn't accept to go to Liverpool, then I would fear for you personally, because that means you're going to go under the same kind of way you target players and sign players. I personally would want the person that has given the orders. I can't say names. He might be Spanish, just saying. But if you get him, the board are going to have to trust him. And the only way he goes to Liverpool is if he has full trust. That means he can go and get the players that he wants.
Bobby, is he going back to if he technically the German league and plundering a few centre backs?
That's possible. That's
Oh
possible.
my gosh, they're going to be so strong.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, I was worried about Liverpool's window last summer. For anybody who listened to me last year, I was worried about what they were doing, but unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out. But that's they did spend massive. They did
Yeah, they
spend
did.
massive, and
It's their defence that needs it now.
oh, 100%, 100%.
They've got their midfield's great. If they're all fit, they're good.
I'll be honest, the Salah thing's going to hurt him a lot. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
just in
definitely,
terms.
yeah.
I know people think, oh, it's not going to hurt him because he's going to get £400,000 off the wages. It doesn't work like that with PSR. It's more complicated, and it will hurt Liverpool financially. Probably in the region of around 50 to 60 million pound, which is quite a lot in football terms, especially when you want to break even or not make a huge loss. So Liverpool are going to have to be very careful what they do in the summer, which means they're going to have, in my opinion, have to sell someone.
Would
but
an
we'll have to wait and see.
ex-manager go back there? I don't know how true it is, but people
That
are
Klopp.
saying that that their former manager could go back.
As far as I know, Jurgen doesn't want to go back to Liverpool. I haven't heard
Okay.
Jurgen. No. I don't think even Jurgen wants to go to Real Madrid. I think he's quite happy in the Red Bull system, and I'll be honest, if I was in that system, I'd be very delighted. It's a beautiful system to be in, the Red Bull system. Honestly, it's a wonderful job. Apart from F1, they can go and shove it up their arse. Geeks saying good evening. Oh, hello, Geeks. Hello, chap. Please support the channel by hitting the like button. Also, why not subscribe and join a great community of Gunners, very stressed ones as well. After that Havertz chance, it's like you decided to have handbrake on after that. Never mind a Champions League final. If you have Barca or Atletico in semis, you are getting cooked. Have to outscore teams in Champions League knockouts. I wanted to play that League Cup final like we've been playing the Champions League. It's as simple as that. That's how I expected us to play. We turned up like we were going to play a bunch of 80-year-old grannies, and we didn't want to hurt their hips. That's how it felt like to me. I hated watching us on Sunday. It was a horrendous game to watch, and I'm glad we're no longer doing that. Damo, good evening. Hope both are well. Are any surprise exits in the pipeline? Yes, there are surprise exits. Hope you guys are well. There's been a lot of players who left the international fixtures injured. One's wondering if you could briefly update us on that. Don't worry about it. Look, it's not just. I don't know why they all seem to be. This crazy thing. They seem to be so focused on us that they're not realising it's happening for a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what they've all done, and I've got no issues with it whatsoever, FIFA have their rules, but as a manager, and sometimes even the owners, can speak to the selectors or the manager of the national team and say, okay, is this guy definitely going to be in for the World Cup? Yeah. Okay, can we pull him? Yeah. So they'll just pull him. That's all they'll do, because they've already got their position ready for the World Cup. So they don't need to go to this training camp. What Thomas Tuchel is doing with his camp is looking at potentials, which is why he's picked like 35, because he wants to see everyone in training. He doesn't give a crap about the games. The games are just not significant. It's the training camp that's important. And some of these players don't need to go to training camp because, let's be honest, they're guaranteed to be playing or being picked by France, Germany, Brazil, whatever club it is. So the players don't have to go, and that's fine. Move on. Simple as that. Big up to Luke. Blimey neck. I'm only on 6:54. Jeez. Right, evening, Bobby. In the chat. Hope you're doing well, Luke, because I'm not. You can imagine how I look that cup final performance. I'm surprised. Did anything break, Luke? That's my theory with you. Did anything break? I do think if Arsenal avoid defeat at Etihad, Arsenal win the league. If they lose, however, could be a different story. 100%. If we get 100 million for White, Trossard and Martinez, I'd say that's good business. Let me just count that up quickly. Yeah, around that 100 million. I'll be happy with that. I'm not even going to try, Chris. I'm too stressed right now. It will come out as something that will probably need to be bleeped. Agreed, Barcola. He's just to get out of PSG with him behind Sheila, Doué and Dembele in pecking order. Geek's got camera off because the loft where he streams from is having a makeover. One thing that's guaranteed under Diet Pep is that he will tank players' value for absolutely no reason. Big up to DJM. As long as those outs include Martinelli, Trossard, Ode, Jesus, then fine by me, but have to bring in players to take us to the next level. Not another profile that doesn't improve anything. Hashtag no to Gordon, says Chris, and he links to Elise. As I think we've covered Elise in this demo. I do apologise if you haven't, but honestly, rewind. I spoke about a lot. Evening, gents. Hope all is well. Gordon is a very top player. He is to me, Elvis, if I'm honest. We didn't need Madueke. We did need Madueke. Arsenal need a proper midfielder. Rice, slow and turgid and can't play one-touch football. Basically turned Arsenal into West Ham on his own. Wow. I strongly disagree.
What the heck?
And now, like, for people that know me and know me very, very well, West Ham has a very big soft touch in my heart. So I'm never going to take that as criticism, personally. However, what I will take is the fact that he can play one-touch football. He's a very quality, good player. I don't know.
Unbelievable trolling, Bobby. I don't think we even need to discuss that comment. That's a joke.
But Gammon British bias will roll on and on.
Okay.
I'm confused. What's going on?
So I think like British bias, like the gammon, like the mouth breathers. That's kind of like
okay.
British bias,
Oh, I'm literally thinking of gammon for some reason. In my head, I'm like, gammon. I don't even like gammon. It's too salty. But anyway, I'll be back here Friday, everyone. I promise. Brenny, evening.
You won't have left.
Probably, yeah. Lewis-Skelly, I'd say 35. Oh, that's how far back we're there with the values.
Oh, wow.
It's just PS are a value. Agreed, Ali's. Yeah, if they were playing like last season, I'd say 60 million for each of them. Comes in like you said a while back, Bobby. Skelly isn't a left back, he's a midfielder. Calafiori is better at set pieces. When we beat City, he was 90% in the midfield. If a manager is killing their momentum, they have every right to go for more playing time. Not every kid's a star. We have 3. We actually have more. We have a 14-year-old coming through as well. And then we've got the 2 twins. And then we've got the Irish lad. And I do promise this Irish lad is, as long as he comes and settles really well, one to watch out for as well. And I'll be honest, I will always call him the Irish lad because I know his surname is absolutely crazy. I'm hoping because if you were to get that on the back of your shirt, it would cost you an absolute fortune. Can you remember his name, Anthony or Geeks?
No, I can't. But that's why we've sold him. We're going to do it by the letter and make the trick,
Honestly, it will cost you an absolute fortune to get his surname on the back. MLS takes too many risks for Arteta to play in our midfield. Only robotics stick to the script players get to play for Diet Pep. The only player that gets any freedom is when the wild horse plays. Oh, I do love you, Luke. Big up to BX. Why did Mertesacker leave? Honestly, it won't take you too much to work out. I know Pear won't say it, and I know Arsenal won't say it, but it won't take you too much to work it out. So yeah, Ethan should have been right here, right now. No, I think he's done exactly what we needed for him to do, to go out on loan. Yeah, I know we've been unlucky with loans, but he still wouldn't have played. I'll be honest. We would have found Barbara, the cleaner, to be put there before Ethan would. So yeah, Ethan's doing the right thing for him. I do think he needs one more season out as well, a full season out. And as I've said, and I've said this categorically, Ethan outlasts Arteta at Arsenal Football Club. That's all that matters to me. Ethan's here for many, many years to come. This sounds like making excuses for Arteta mishandling young players, says Ali. Says BX, sorry. We're just older, Ali, so we don't idolise players like we used to. The youngsters would probably be devastated if Saka or Saliba, etc. will leave because they've not had players like that they liked to leave before. Jeez, we've had the amount of players that have gone that I loved. Well, my granddad always taught me never fall in love with your player until they leave, because they always hurt you. How is pissed? Is the best word to put that one. All that back in investment, he'll want some silverware in return. He does want silverware. I've covered Buwadi. For MLS and Nwaneri, the model route to show is Saliba at 19 had 3 loan spells. Obviously, for people that don't know, the Saliba situation was very, very different. A lot sadder as well. With Ethan and Miles, Ethan, we just need one more season. If, in my opinion, just one more season out on loan will do him the wonders. With Miles, we need 1 season at least, because I do think 2 years' time he'll be in the squad.
I completely agree with that, Bobby. Both.
He needs to
just to sharpen him up.
It's one sharp, yeah, but he also kind of needs to bulk up a bit. For anyone that remembers Patino, Miles is my Patino worry. We had all that great hope about Patino, that Patino would make the first team. I did as well, in all fairness. I did think he'd make it. Just didn't. Miles is that player at the moment. He does need to strengthen in certain areas to play the role that we need him to play, and he wants to play. He needs to strengthen.
You should come do a gym session with me. I'll get him bulked up.
Honestly, you and Ali, you should speak to Miles and get it sorted, because it would be in the first thing a lot quicker. He just needs to bulk up a bit. He's a bit weak to play that role that he expects him to be able to play. He's just not strong enough, in my opinion, and the data supports it.
Send him my way and I'll get him bulked
up. Big up to Malcolm, who's obviously an Everton fan. Absolutely fine. How's your season going? Yep, exactly. Any news on Buwadi? Says Commander. Big up to DWTT, saying hello, Bobby and the panel. It's a 2-parter because of... Honestly, this is it's 10-parter now, probably. Esposito from Inter. I don't think Esposito will be available this summer. He's someone that maybe look at next summer. Inter, I don't think want to lose him. Not right now. We need to turn Ali's volume is high, but he's got one of those really cool mics, so that's why you can literally hear everything clearly. Is that destination us for Buwadi, please, says Tyler. Big up to Tyler. I haven't seen you in the comments for a long time. Can you please go through the comments? I always like to. Everyone knows me. I like to go through the comments because you've all spent the time typing it. I do like to make sure I go through the comments. Shumason kicks to the Shadow Realm. Santos from Chelsea's Sam Parsons idea is who I'd grab from Chelsea. For me, Santos is a bit hit and miss. So sometimes he can look amazing, and then some games he looks absolutely woeful.
Completely agreed. Look good in Liga.
Yeah.
But Chelsea doing Chelsea things to him.
Yeah, well, that's what Chelsea doing. That Chelsea just destroy every player that comes to them.
Yeah, but because I've not really seen him out of the Chelsea network too much, I've not been that convinced by him. So it's a bit different with Madueke and Havertz. I've seen them beforehand, so I was convinced. I'm fine with those. But Santos, I'm not convinced by. I'll be honest. Hey, just got in a break. We'll have to, Brenny. Just use it as instead of Ovaltine tonight, mate. It will be fine. You just go to sleep on my voice tonight. It's all good. Wesley Franca, the Roma fullback you're thinking of? Yes. 20. I think he's like early 20s. Wesley's a top right back, in my opinion. But there's loads of them. No, I don't want Arteta at Liverpool. Thanks. Promise you, it's not that. Jeez, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Not getting a fee for salary is a joke. I'm glad he's leaving, by the way, but it's okay. I have a gender, apparently. Basically, you play like being at weddings, and I love weddings. Not getting. Oh God, starting again. Qualifying is oh jeez, another early one this weekend. Right, brilliant.
Oh,
Okay.
that's competitive, though.
Bobby, just a quick one.
Yes, mate.
Just on certain things. If Arteta, just a quick yes or no, if Arteta left,
Yes.
do we know who we're going for already? Has
Yes.
the candidate's been identified?
Yeah. There's two of them.
Okay.
Both employed.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I would definitely. I knew. Are you going to mention Enrique?
Yes.
I would definitely turn down your excitement on those type of managers.
Right.
It's
For
not
real?
that we. It's not that we. It just doesn't suit us, and I do get it. I know
We've
a lot
gone
of
for a
people
style
really
of
want
play,
them.
have we?
Yeah,
It's
that's what I was going to say. In terms of the
it's more of a style of play that we want, and it
Well,
is.
doesn't he do that at PSG? He does that at PSG. The same formation that we play, he does it at PSG, and that's what I was thinking. Ideally, he would get more out of these players going forward because look what he did with Dembele. Prime example.
Yeah, but I think you need to look a little bit more into Enrique and what kind of manager and kind of person he is. He's not the easiest of managers or people to deal with. The two people that I know about, I'm absolutely fine. I know the fans will have an absolute meltdown over him, but I'm absolutely fine with if we pick one of those two. I know the fan base. I know the fan base want this and want that and want this. But you have to kind of calm your expectations down sometimes. Because at the end of the day, Enrique would demand probably 25 million a season anyway. Because Arteta's on 15 million and done nothing to achieve that 15 million. So we also have to bear that in mind as well. Right, big up to Raymond. I think this is a Newcastle question. If Eddie Howe season over, PFF and Amanda Staley should review all Eddie Howe season. Eddie Howe sacked from Newcastle United now, and Maresca appointed as the manager of Newcastle now from Ray. I'm guessing. Do you think Eddie? I'm guessing you're trying to ask. Do I think Eddie Howe will be sacked? I think there was going to be a big review at Newcastle at the end of the season. Now, as I've said right at the beginning regarding Champions League places, that is so undecided right now. It could go all the way down to 7th, which could help
They didn't set him
Newcastle.
up well for the season, though, did they?
No.
Losing out on Ekatike, selling Isak, and then what they had to do to scramble.
Yeah. Well, this the problem with Newcastle, and I've said it all along, they have to be a big club for at least 10 years before they can think that they can spend like United, Arsenal, even Tottenham, Liverpool. They have to be big continuously for 10 years. You can't just buy a club and expect them to challenge straight away. It doesn't work that way with a PSR. That's the whole reason that PSR was introduced. So no one can buy the league, pardon the pun, but that's pretty much how it would work. You can't do that, and we have to protect it. Sorry, so what did you say, Anthony? Sorry, mate.
No, I was going to say it's too little, too late because obviously City really did that in terms of when they came through, and Chelsea as well. So they bringing in the PSR now. It's just like you should have done that the moment when City came in, and Chelsea, and then obviously City. So I'm just like, what is the point in bringing on the PSR when you know that two clubs already have literally bought the league in terms of the outlay of money that they spent? That doesn't make sense.
Kind of. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but City. I can't say certain stuff. Chelsea, different situation. Scumbag owner. Blah blah blah. Still a scumbag even to this day. City.
100%.
You know, people can look at the evidence and come up with their conclusions. I personally know what their conclusion is personally, but that's just me. PSR is there to protect clubs from going bust. That is the important thing. Because what can happen is an owner can literally come in, spend an absolute fortune, put them on stupid wages. The company that owner owns can go literally bust. That club's, pardon language, fucked. Right?
Yeah.
That's what the whole point of PSR is, to protect clubs so they don't spend over their means. Arsenal are a very well-run club. Tottenham are a very, very well-run club. Liverpool, decent. United decent now. They're getting better. And I'm not going to comment on the other two clubs. But Newcastle, as I said, Newcastle, they need 10 years. 10 years of continuously good fortune or finishing high, finishing Champions League positions before they think they can spend X amount on wages on certain players. That's what's going to do them all the time, because they can offer X amount, but Liverpool, United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal can offer £100,000 more. So who are you going to go to? And bear in mind, Newcastle is extremely cold. So,
but ain't the owners richer than C's?
yeah, but like I said, they still have a tight.
Yes. Budget.
Yeah, exactly, because their sponsors don't pay much. Yes, they've got a massive stadium, but they don't charge as much for tickets. Because
like
it's,
Arsenal do.
It's just but it's all location as well, because obviously we're London, they're Newcastle, and obviously they have to charge what they can what the people of Newcastle can afford, really. And that's not me being horrible to Newcastle. It's just that's how it works. So Newcastle will have to find other ways, because they're not going to make the fans suffer, which they shouldn't do. What they need to do is get more money in sponsorship. And by doing that, they have to continuously qualify for Champions League, continuously do well in the cups, win a cup here and there. Their sponsors
grow the club organically, Bobby, basically.
Exactly.
And
don't cheat.
Dodgy little cheating things.
I'm not saying any club has ever cheated, but don't cheat.
I'm surprised that the Saudi owners haven't, like, in terms of the sponsorship on their shirt. I'm actually surprised that the Saudi owners say, okay, for arguments, I'll just throw the Saudi as an example, use Fly Emirates like we are. You know what I'm saying, in terms of their shirts, in terms of bringing in that money going forward, in terms of changing the sponsor of the shirt, because that will bring in more money in terms of, generating shirt sales, in terms of new sponsors going forward. So I'm actually surprised that they haven't considered that going forward in terms of, a new sponsor on their shirt.
I get where you're coming from, but what they're getting for their shirt sponsor is probably the highest they could possibly achieve at the moment. Obviously, Fly Emirates at some point in the future, but I'll be honest, they have to be way more successful than they are now. No offence to Newcastle, but that's just the reality. Then they'll obviously attract bigger people that want to go, I want to sponsor you. Fantastic. More money. But they're doing everything in the legal way, which I personally like. Yeah, it's going to be hard for Newcastle fans to accept for a few years. Sorry, that's just the way it is.
They have to do what we've done: invest in young talent and let them grow, sell, renew, and then they'll be there.
Exactly. But they'll get there. I went to Halifax. We won 1-0. Awful boring. We won 6-2 versus Boston. Hughes actually playing offensively, but of course didn't stick to it. That is one difference in it, 6-2 to 1-0. Jesus. If Carl actually played offensive football, we would be in National League race. It's crazy we could still be over 100. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Mark Hughes is the non-league Arteta, Chris. That's my word. I'm not going to comment. I'm going to quickly go through some of these because I really do want to wrap it up soon, because I'm going to be back on Friday anyway. Jeez. It's not going to be the end of the world when Arteta leaves. It will always be a great time when Mikel leaves the social joints. Liverpool got a lot of business to do again, potentially 3 wingers at this rate. Hopefully a bloody DM at last. I want 2 centre-backs. I want VVD Don. Back up left back as well. I don't think you're getting a backup left back. I actually do think you're getting a good selection left back. From what I've been told anyway. Clocks go forward on a Sunday. Oh jeez, that's going to affect the Grand Prix as well. Brilliant. Does that mean I lose 1 hour or gain an hour?
You lose.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you, Japan.
Pull backwards, spring forward.
Oh, fantastic.
Listen, if Lewis Hamilton's on the pole, you know what I'm saying, if he's on pole, or if he's thereabouts on Sunday, I don't care, you know what I'm saying?
I do, because he drives for Ferrari and I can't stand Ferrari. I love
Yeah.
Lewis, but he's dead to
Yeah.
me now. He's in Ferrari car. It's as simple as, mate. I have hated Ferrari for the longest time. Red Bull was the new team I can't stand, so it's only Mercedes or McLaren for me. Williams, if they ever got up there, I'd be happy with, but no,
Here,
that
here.
won't
I
happen.
support that.
Please ignore Ray Lance. He puts same comment in 10 times. I blocked it. Oh, no worries. I'm guessing Sask, and for some weird hunch, Iriola. Should it ever come to that by the end of the season? Never really thought Enrique was an option we'd go for personally. Iriola for me will go to Bill Bauer
Oh,
because I
yeah,
know
there
that.
was a. Yeah, sorry, Bo. Sorry to cut you.
Yes, mate.
What was the meeting between Cesc and Berta?
There wasn't no meeting.
Wasn't there a meeting? Or was it
No,
me speaking to someone at the? Was it
no,
anyone?
no. No, I do love people. So, Cesc, funny enough,
Yeah,
is an Arsenal fan. Did anyone
yeah,
know that? And Cesc obviously can get a ticket in a certain area of a stadium for obvious
yeah,
reasons. It's Cesc Fabregas.
yeah.
And Berta just happened to be there, and they were talking. As simple as that. They had a chat. I'm
You manager?
not. I'm not. I'm not going to put anything on that fire because Cesc is more than welcome to watch Arsenal anytime he likes. So yeah, Iriola. Yeah, for me, will go to Bill Bauer at the end of the season. I can't remember who's leaving. I can't remember the guy's name. It's not Valverde, is it? I can't think of his name now. Whoever's the Bilbao manager is leaving. So I do expect that. Oh, look, I'm nearly at the end. Woohoo! Club's too cheap, but I'll leave it there. I will love it if we beat them in the Champions League quarters. Crying about needing a rest. Play second team. You won your league over there and you're playing Liverpool. Ferrari fans dreaming. That's like saying Klopp, Gerrard in running for Liverpool job just because he's in the Pred box. Gerrard's not in the running for the Liverpool job, so don't panic about that. Right, okay.
1 minute. Just wanted to say well done, Bobby, for getting through all of that.
Yeah, for real.
I will be back on Friday
Yeah.
after a very long sleep. Jeez. But no, in all seriousness, I will be back Friday. I'll answer any more questions. I don't think we've covered everything, in all fairness. So if there are more questions that you want to ask, I know it got carried away and StreamYard decided to play up as well, so it all got a little bit mental in the end. But I will be back Friday to answer any more questions if I haven't answered them tonight. I have absolutely no issues. If you're a fan of whatever club, including Tottenham, you're more than welcome to ask me a question. I will answer you. And Dermot, if you do watch this, that does include you as well, Dermot. Right. Thank you ever so much. Anthony, where can they find you, my friend?
Right, the only place they can find me is on either on a football takeover as usual, or just Twitter or X. Just Anthony. Type it in, you see my big picture on there. So that's the only place that I'm at, really and truly. So on here, on our Discord as well. So if you guys want to jump onto our Discord as well, you can do, and we're more than welcome to welcome new people to our Discord as well. So that's the football takeover Discord that we do have, where we talk about football. Guys use their heads about the Arsenal game and all that going forward. So yeah, I'm on here and I'm on X. So yeah, guys, check us out going forwards.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Geeks, where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, sorry, Bob. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for your doing the transfer show. As I said, it's the meat and potatoes. People love it. I'm glad you're back and sharing what you know and what you can share with us. Hopefully people kind of take it with a calm head. But yes, thank you for you can find me. My gosh, I'm doing an Oscar speech. I do apologise. You can find me here on the Football Takeover, and that's it really. So thanks for everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe, and catch you on the next one.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, as I said, I was going to be back just Saturday to do the North London derby, but I'll give you another show on Friday now. Sod it. So yeah, Friday. And if needed, I will try and do one next week. But I don't think there'll be one needed. Hopefully, I'll cover thinking on Friday. But yeah, if you're, as I said, if you're a fan of any other club other than Arsenal, please do ask the questions, because honestly, I don't mind. I'll answer the best I can. I have enough information about every club. So yeah, I will see you on Friday, and I'm going to now just have a very strong whiskey. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take it easy. See you later. Bye bye.
See ya.